Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I'm officially obsessed, and you will be too. If you haven't tried Lem by Hello Nancy yet, what are you doing? Over 1 million women are using it, and the reviews are wild. One girl literally said, "Join the incredibly satisfied brigade." I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. The hype is 100% real. Don't let the cute design fool you. Go to hellonancy.com and see what the hype is about.
Don't let your decision paralysis demon keep you from watching something great this weekend. Subscribe to ScreamShare, the newsletter that serves up a 5-minute breakdown of the best horror available on streaming. I'll have essential weekly movie picks covering new films, classics that you need to catch up on, and a movie that's always streaming for free. So subscribe now, and you can even be part of some frighteningly fun watch parties we're putting together that'll let you be part of the conversation. So click in the link in the show notes or go to screamshare.beehive.com. That's screamshare.beehive.com, and make sure you whitelist your welcome email so you can get updates for all of the news and updates. And now the body count continues. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Animal Attack April time is here. That's right. We're still talking about Animal Attack movies, and this time it's about Thrash on Kill by Kill. Well, greetings and salutations, Internet. It is your old pal, Patrick Hamilton, coming to you once again from some weird-ass spot in South Carolina called Annieville. This is the Kill by Kill podcast, where we're dedicated to celebrating the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. We're going to unpack all the goriest details of this month's Thrash on Netflix in the hopes that a local town person's untimely end is just the beginning of the jokes we might make at their expense. And as always, there's only one person I trust to go get me that rowboat. The one, the only, Gena Radcliffe. How are you doing today, Gena?
I'm listening to you give your introduction, and usually I can come up with a semi-witty introduction for myself, and I'm thinking back to Thrash, which I watched yesterday.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and I'm just like nothing. And
this is an odd one. Now we put this. We saw this was coming up. We put it on the calendar. I don't like to put things on the calendar if I haven't seen them. Just like on ScreamShare, I never want to recommend a movie that I don't personally wouldn't think of recommending, or certainly I would never recommend anything I hadn't seen. And this was like, oh, the timing seems really good. It's not often we get the chance to talk about an Animal Attack movie that just released that almost, anyone with a Netflix account, which is a fair amount of people, will have instantaneous access to. And I can't say that Thrash has set the world ablaze with buzz. This is no, K-pop Demon Hunters. Let's put it that way.
No, well, I mean, when your biggest star is Djmon Hounsu, not that there's anything, not that there's, he's a great actor and all, but
and he looks pretty. Like he is aged like fine fucking wine. This man.
Oh yes, absolutely. But like, other than him, it is a cast of absolute whomst and whats.
Yes. I mean, they're all people who have appeared in various streaming shows and movies of non-note. So they're working actors. And there's a place in this world, especially for an Animal Attack movie, where it's rife with people whom you've never seen before. That's perfectly fine. What I wish the movie gave them was more indelible characters, which is a thing here that's kind of at the core of the show when we're not examining everyone's bedroom for the weird things that set decorators put on their bedrooms. We are concerned with characters. And these are like, I can tell that they wrote a description in parentheses after their names, but it's one thing. Pregnant, agoraphobic.
Plucky orphans.
Right.
Concerned father figure.
Yeah.
Smug reporter.
Guy with coffee mug. Truck driver.
Unnecessary human villain.
And I will even say, like, one of the orphans is a kid who's going to be in Leviticus. And I've heard like nothing but great things about Leviticus. And I'm super excited, but he is very noticeably Australian, trying to make a South Carolina accent happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't say that is the easiest task for me, an American, someone from North Carolina. It's specific, and he has not done any favors here.
No, and if you love dueling accents on the level of The Walking Dead,
right? Yeah.
Folks, you are in for a treat, because we have got multiple stabs at Southern accents here, at quote unquote Southern accent.
Yeah. A very generalized Southern is happening here, and some people have. It's not. We're back to backing this with Squirm, which will be on Patreon. And Squirm, people have turned the dial on accent to 11,000, whereas here, everyone has chosen an idea of a South Carolina accent. And everyone's just giving it a go, pretty much. And it is at random how it kind of comes out. There's no real consistency. This is a small town. Next to nobody knows one another.
Yeah, which is puzzling.
It is very puzzling that granted, one of these characters is a newbie in town to a certain degree. She didn't grow up there and everything. And the person that she meets is agoraphobic, so she's not really going outside the house. So that I kind of get, but it's like nobody else has any idea who anyone else's name is. It's a little first drafty.
Yes, to me. Yes, very much so. A little first drafty to the point where its own dialogue foreshadows everything that's going to happen.
Yes. Oh my God, Gena! Like an assassin, you've lined up the perfect shot in your scope, and you've nailed it yet again. This has definite Netflix disease, where they do not trust you to understand what is happening and will reinforce very understandable visual information with verbalization to say, you saw what you thought you saw. And if you weren't looking, guess what? Shark. I understand what sharks look like. You don't have to spell that out. It's not that the movie isn't without things about it. Like, there were moments where I was like, "Hey, we're cooking here. We might have something," but then it just can't quite find a way to really make these sequences fill the tension meter at all. It often weirdly dissipates tension at odd moments. It can't build on things. It can't escalate. What it comes down to is so much of this is just copy paste crawl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I read the plot of this, I was like, this is just crawl. This is crawl with more characters,
which is odd.
Which crawl did not need more characters. You had two,
right? And not to just force this up against a better movie and go, why can't you be crawl and slap it across the jaw? But it so desperately wants to be crawl in so many aspects that it can't help but draw those comparisons. Now, there's another movie about a surge of ocean water which takes over a town and dumps them with sharks. And that's a movie I doubt you've seen, which is called Bait 3D. Have you seen that?
I have not.
After Your Next came out, a movie. Oh my God, Gena, we just have to fucking talk about Your Next. But Shari Vincent, I can't remember her exact. Yeah. She's great in Your Next. And I was like, what else has she been in? And I'm like, oh, I've seen the dance movie she's been in. What's Bait 3D? And of course, that was also a time where, I still do have a 3D Blu-ray player and a TV plays the 3D movie. So I'm like, I'm getting this thing. I'm throwing it up on the movie, on a screen, and I'm watching this. And Bait 3D, I would say, is at the same level of this. What advantage Bait 3D has is it's another one set wonder, and how, Crawl really works in that it throws a bunch of people who don't know one another into a semi-flooded supermarket where they're all up on top of various shelves and freezer cases, and they're separated and they can see each other and interact, but they can't really help one another. But they're kind of a leap away from one another, but it's a dangerous leap. And the problem there is that the CGI sharks are so early into CGI sharks, and they're trying to do 3D, that everything becomes a little bit of coming at you disease.
Right.
I would say it works on the edge of a little bit better because it constrains its action to how do we get out of this supermarket? But because the scale of this is how do we get out of this entire town, it just dissipates the tension a little bit. If it just stayed with those two women inside that house, well, it would have been two Crawl, right?
Right.
So they try to then go, all right, it's also that this one character's uncle is going to drive a boat into where she is to come rescue her, but he's 100 miles away. And so it's a race against time, but they're never in any fucking danger.
No.
And then you have the three orphans who are in their own lower level house. So the floodwaters are not consistent at all, but it's sinking a second story house and at the same level at that first story house for the entirety of the movie. I'm not the only one who watched this movie. Someone had to have seen this and gone, why is the floodwater moving up so much here and not anywhere else? And I don't know that I need everything explained to me, but I need this one thing explained the fuck to me, Gena Radcliffe.
Well, the problem is that they don't explain that, but they over-explain other things.
Right.
Like you've got this one character, now it's hard to tell because the actress is very thin, and the pregnancy belly she's wearing is not, particularly large. Like,
yes.
If you had said, oh, she's about to give birth any day now, I'm like,
right.
To what, a kitten? Because right. Like she does not look 9 months pregnant.
She really doesn't.
Like she is visibly pregnant, but not, about to burst pregnant.
Yeah.
But she has this conversation with her mother in the car, which is, the mother is just, I knew you shouldn't have gotten together with that lousy boyfriend who dumped you and you're 9 months pregnant. And it's like, and then it's like, and then the line that made me groan out loud and said is when the mother asked, have you considered a water birth? And I'm like, here we fucking go.
Come on.
You get it? Because she's going to go into, of course she's going to go into labor during the storm. Yeah. Otherwise, why would she be pregnant? Like there's no other reason for this character to be pregnant other for her to go into labor in the middle of all this chaos. But not only that, she's going to actively give birth and have the child in water.
Yeah.
Like the afterbirth is going to attract the sharks.
Yes. Which, in terms of like, how do I up the danger level and all that? I guess, but it just, Gena,
you can leave it that she's in labor. You don't have to. And number one, like, you've had a child, you've had a pregnant wife. I'm sure that at some point you really got over the whole, oh my God, my water broke.
Right. Yeah.
It's such a cheap and lazy tactic.
I 1000% agree with you. Like Becky, her water broke in the morning. It took until 5:30, 6 o'clock for her to give birth. We went on a hike to try to get her contractions going. Like we went through machination. When I tell you, Gena, we went through machinations to get those going. To not just like, all right, it needs more than a water breaking here. You need contractions happening, and they weren't happening at all. And we were like, okay, what do we do? And, physical activity. Should I say this on Maine? I gave her an orgasm because that helps.
I mean, that works. I mean,
it works.
I had a C-section, and it took longer than it took for this woman to give birth.
Right. Yeah. So, again, it's one of those things where, it doesn't have to be perfect or scientific necessarily. But what works about Crawl, right, is that, it's this very simple setup. It's a one-set wonder. You're introduced to all the rooms in that house one at a time when Haley is looking for the dad. And you don't know it at the time, but you're introduced to elements that you will revisit when you get back into those rooms, and they're, one or, several of them are going to have a gator in them. And you're told you're taught the geography of the house. So later on, when things are panicked, you're not wondering where the fuck they are, or, oh, they have a second story, or that's the window you can go out to the roof on, because she opens it up to see what's happening. It's just built into it. It is a well-constructed screenplay. It's well directed, and it is well edited.
Well, and also, one of the things it does so well, and why so many other animal attack movies fail, is, I believe that she is a genuine danger. It just created such a sense of tension.
Yes.
That is just absolutely nowhere to be found in this movie. They kind of shot their wad within the first half an hour when they quickly killed off the guy that showed up to help the pregnant woman.
Yes.
That was about as surprising as it got, other than the fact that the smug reporter didn't get at the last minute.
Right. Yes. That's another element. That group, the Djmon Hounsu group, nothing happens to them. Literally nothing. They come across a SWAT van. He is just an exposition machine about what sharks do, and strangely enough, hippos, and then is just the target of casual racism.
I was going to say, this reporter is totally set up to. I thought he was supposed to be like Carrie Elwes's character in Twister, where he just sort of just smug and loathsome, and then he gets killed because he does something stupid. That's what I thought that they were going to set up with this reporter, that he was going to keep, especially with the whole make sure you keep filming this, and that ultimately he ends up, his own death gets filmed. But no, they don't do that. Yeah. The tensest it gets is this first attempt at rescuing this pregnant woman, and then after that point we have set up, okay, these are going to be the survivors.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
I'm officially obsessed, and you will be too. If you haven't tried Lem by Hello Nancy yet, what are you doing? Over 1 million women are using it, and the reviews are wild. One girl literally said, "Join the incredibly satisfied brigade." I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. The hype is 100% real. Don't let the cute design fool you. Go to hellonancy.com and see what the hype is about.
It just kind of carries on, but one of the, again, I hate to A/B test this, but the compelling factor in Crawl is that you have two characters who have this backstory, and you just know that they haven't been getting along. There's a divorce. You can kind of put one and two together, and then slowly over the course of the predicaments they're put in which the factors are literally complicated with every single move they make. I dropped my phone. Go get your phone. You get bit on the leg. You crawl back into one space, but you're separated, but you have to do this other thing. Oh, there's a cop outside. He can get to the stairs. He's attacked by the gator. Gator falls into the basement, destroys the stairs. Well, they're not going to get out that way. Now the floodwaters are starting to rise. All these things start to complicate, and their dynamic is that they push each other's buttons, but that also compels them to do great things. So over the course of the movie, when they're called upon to do these extraordinary acts to save themselves and each other, you know that they can do it because that is the relationship they have, and it pairs so well emotionally with the tension in the movie that just doesn't happen on your first or second draft. That happens over the course of time where a group of people all get together and go, how can we improve this? How can we make this better? How can we make this group of mechanical elements not just tell time, but really tick? I don't feel like this happens in this movie.
No, you've got, what are the elements we need? Well, we need sharks, killing people, and we need characters to root for.
Right.
All right. Well, how do we develop these characters? Well, make them, a traumatized teenager, a pregnant woman, and some plucky orphans.
Right.
And it's like, well, I mean, how did they get into their circus? Well, it doesn't. We can say the pregnant girl got dumped by her boyfriend, and the girl is traumatized because her mom died or something, and like, when you can see that there's a lot of elements to this movie that the filmmakers did not trust in the end.
Yeah.
They were not confident about their shark effects, for one thing, because the sharks,
they're really trying to hide the weenie. And
they're almost predominantly filmed under very murky water. Yeah. Like which is a shame because the flooding effects are pretty good.
I would say for a movie that has a lot of CGI water, I didn't trip that much on the CGI water. I don't know that the flooding sequence is anything to write home about. It's a little 2012. That's fine. I don't really care. I'm not coming to this for fucking realism or whatever. But what they can't quite make is a level of threat to the sharks beyond our understanding that these sharks, there's blood in the water and they're happy to snap at anything. And it's just kind of, I just don't understand why they couldn't make this compelling, other than the fact, oh God, not to do this again. But in Crawl, you can get snapped at by a croc and walk away from it with an injury and go, because they're on land. All right, they didn't death roll me. I can figure out I can kind of get away. I'm injured, but I'm not dead. Whereas anyone who's bitten by a shark, with one major exception, is instantaneously dead and dragged away. There's a little bit of thrashing. There's a nice Jaws 2 reference where that guy who's trying to rescue the pregnant girl out of the car gets slammed into it. And you're like, hey, I recognize Jaws 2. Guess what? Jaws 2, better movie than this one.
Another thing they don't have confidence in is their ability to create tension. With this, with what should be an organically very tense situation. So instead, and I'm about to say, have to create a human villain, and in this asshole father who is like hiding stakes from the kids and stealing their money.
Oh God!
It brings nothing to the plot except for the audience to be like, yay, when he finally gets at, which was inevitable anyway.
Yes. I mean, you can smell the dead meat on them from the second. Right. And listen, all these movies need dead meat. I'm not against that.
No. But like, why not create a genuine shocking moment and have it be the kid's real father or something like somebody where they're not happy that he's gotten killed. It's a tragedy.
Right.
But they're too afraid to go there because they want a happy, triumphant ending. And you don't get a happy, triumphant ending when someone's parent just died.
Right. Yes. And they're orphans in the foster care system. And, do they have foster care parents who are trying their best to be for them emotionally, but maybe they can't keep up with the financial demands of 3 kids? Nope. No, they're money hungry assholes. So I'm just so glad to see this stereotype is still being perpetrated in this manner, because I'm sure I'm sure this happens. It's happened. It's not science fiction, but it also isn't like so consistent that it always has to be this way. Like, I don't know. I also don't know why they have to be completely separated from the other storyline. Why aren't they living next door to Dakota?
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, even if they live on one level or what, like, they live the parents own the tool store, or the Ace Hardware below that, and they live on the second level, and they're keeping all of the steaks in the fridge down at the
How do you hide steaks from someone? Like, what did they only cook? They only cook them when they're out of the house,
right? Where's their secret steak hideaway? It only asks more, and they're hiding beer. I just don't understand half of it. And then on top of it, there's no tangible difference between any of these 3 kids. Here's the only 3 differences I found besides size and gender. You have Ron, who can hold his breath for a long time and has a sweater that has more sticking power than Spider-Man's webs, Gena.
Yeah, I can't figure that out.
Dee is the middle child. She likes to swear and is observant. Will's the youngest, and he remembers a shark fact and notices keys at just the right time. Otherwise, you wouldn't notice he exists.
He looks like a Hanson.
He does look like a Hanson. They all have a Hanson-esque vibe. Like, if they bopped in the middle of this, I would have been, yeah, that makes sense from toe to tip. Them's a Hanson.
Yeah, the word I keep coming back to with this movie is that it's lazy. It's lazy.
And like, I like Tommy Riccola's stuff. Like, I think he has some amount of talent. I just think this is too big of a thing for him to really get behind. I don't know, man. I don't think the script is, I don't think he fumbled the bag on the script. I just think this is all very underdeveloped. And someone said to themselves, we can make Crawl, but with sharks. And that got a green light. And they're like, oh shit, we have to make a movie now. And they just started casting.
Right, exactly.
Now, I should probably state who Dakota is. Dakota is a younger character. We don't really know exactly her age. I think she has to be in her 20s.
I thought she was a teenager.
But she lives alone. She can't be living alone. She doesn't actually live with her uncle.
Oh, I thought they did.
That's not the impression I got, because none of his shit is there. It is just her family shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's agoraphobic. She's afraid to leave her house. Has not noticed a massive storm warning. And when she is told, she kind of brushes it aside. Now, I'm not going to say that an agoraphobic caught in a storm surge is like a bad idea for a shark movie. It's actually interesting. And I won't say that this is a good execution of it or a bad execution of agoraphobia. Of course, she does manage to overcome that agoraphobia.
Of course. Yeah.
At the exact time she needs to.
Yeah, that's I actually go into this in the book I wrote about mental illness and pop culture, is that agoraphobic characters in movies are usually made into agoraphobes by a single traumatizing event.
Right, yeah.
And then they are freed of their agoraphobia almost instantaneously by a separate other traumatic event.
Yeah.
So you have an example I would give is Copycat with Sigourney Weaver, who is turned into an agoraphobic after she is attacked and almost killed by a serial killer. And then she in turn is untraumatized by surviving an attack from another serial killer.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna diverge too much into that, and I'm not an expert, but agoraphobia is usually, again, trauma based, and you don't just immediately snap out of a traumatic experience because the occasion calls for it.
I mean, what you don't understand about it, Gena, is that it all has to do with trauma scales. And if you equal out the trauma scale, you're freed from it. It just unlocks the door and you can just walk straight the fuck out.
Right.
That being said, there are moments where they actually treat what's happening as real. There's a sequence in which they're now trapped on the second floor. They know there's a rowboat. They figured out a way because Dakota's uncle, Djmon Hounsu, is a shark expert. She knows a reasonable amount about sharks, enough to know that they're attracted to what they assume to be fish in distress. So she puts a bunch of vibrating things inside of plastic bags so that the sharks will go after those and not her. And by the time she makes it to the rowboat, a great white shark has passed underneath her legs. And she gets into that boat and just kind of passes out. And I'm like, that to me feels very realistic. Yes, you went out there to get that boat so you could rescue this other person. But also, she's barely made it. And I can only imagine the overload of signals happening in your brain. I would need a nap. I'm sorry to say, I would need at least 20 minutes to
I got to pull myself together before I can move on to the next step here.
Yes. But also, like you mentioned earlier, this movie sees and says so much that she happens to watch a home movie in which her, what we learned to be deceased mom, teaches her to stabilize a gun, a NERF gun, so that you can shoot it more accurately. And of course, that's what she uses when she finds a harpoon gun to harpoon a shark from a football field away.
Sure.
It's a distance. So yeah, again, not coming to this for realism, but boy, does it strain credulity at every turn. In a way, I just don't find a lot of, the animal attack movies I do like don't do it this hard.
Right.
And then we had mentioned her earlier. Lisa is 9 months pregnant. She doesn't look like it. We do learn, though, this is very important, comes back over and over again, that her fiance left her to become a professional poker player and a DJ, which those are two different careers. You got to pick one. I'm not sure. You can start at one and achieve that and then dip into the other one, but I don't think you can go for both at the same time.
Well, it's just, but the problem with that is not only is it clumsy expository dialogue.
Yeah,
it doesn't say anything.
Yes.
It doesn't say anything about this character other than she's a single mother. It's like, okay, there's a better way that you could have established that. But it's how is her boyfriend, the father of her child? You don't even have to explain why there's no father there. Just she's on her own.
Right.
Maybe the baby's father is on a business trip or something.
He works on an oil derrick.
Right. There doesn't have to be an explanation as to why there's no father there.
She went to the hospital and is trying to get back home. I don't know. That seems to me like a Netflix note. Like, we got to tell people where this dad is. We got to
explain. Yeah, why is she single? It's like because women have kids without a father in the picture all the time.
Or what you do is you have them together and they have broken up, and he has been forced to go to this appointment, and they are arguing the entire time. And then all this mishigas happens, and when she needs him to help, he doesn't. And then he gets eaten. And then you're like, I've established what the danger is. I got to watch somebody that I didn't care for really get eaten by a shark, and I'm happy about it. That solves some fucking problems for you. And for whatever reason, the movie doesn't take an opportunity to do it. I can't really rate a movie that didn't happen. But we've been talking about this for what? 30 minutes, we've already come up with better movies that this could be.
Right. And the scenario you just suggested, seems more plausible and more entertaining than this cartoonish foster father.
Yeah.
Who's who of course has the thickest Southern accent in the whole movie because, this movie loves nothing but playing stereotypes.
Yes.
So you've got the smug reporter, you've got the orphans who, are, they're super tough and, they don't let anything get them down. It's like, come on, man. This needed another go through with this script.
Not to mention the fact that he loses a hand. And still is trying to get this, and still is just cussing out these kids and getting into fights with them. It's like, is this supposed to be funny? Because it's not. It's labored is what it is. How he manages to get from the garage back into the house with this constantly bleeding stump that he is not, there's nothing cutting off the blood there. There's no tourniquet applied to his arm.
He should have been in shock, not, oh my God, I got my ass cheek bitten off. And
he's barely pale. He should have been died from blood loss, to say of nothing of constantly putting blood in the water to where sharks would be more attracted to him than kids playing the floor is lava inside of his house.
Yeah, and the big problem with this character is he's sort of the villain that the movie does not need, and he's also kind of almost comic relief.
Yeah.
In that he's like this broadly stereotypical redneck, but it's like, yeah, but also, it's heavily implied that he beats these children and deprives them of food and
they're definitely starved. Yes.
And money that they're entitled to. It's like, okay, that's not funny.
No part of this is funny. But what they're trying to do is what I just described about what you could have done with Lisa's husband. Only, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have worked out any better, because you can reasonably say you can make a villain out of the foster dad. Certainly such things have happened. I don't know. Is this a better interpretation of it than Carrie 2? That's debatable. But what really drove me crazy was that they made this whole thing about them going out to the truck, him turning tail and leaving the kids behind, him getting his hand bitten off. It's bleeding like crazy. And then he just shows up 15 minutes later with a non-bleeding stump. What did it air dry? That's still connected to arteries and veins like that. How is this fucking happening? He would just be fish food immediately, and somehow he's not, simply so that he can die in a different circumstance.
Yeah, I think it would have been, a more interesting, albeit slightly darker take on it if they just let him die.
She does kick him in the face. I mean, she kicks him in the face. He goes back and the back of his head is bitten off. I would say that's the part of the movie I enjoyed the most.
Well, okay. But he manages to get over to the house and he's bleeding and he's begging them to let him in and they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's more of a flashback to his neglecting their needs.
Right. It's a turnabout is fair play moment.
Instead, we've got this big, where the audience goes, yeah! And it's I don't know that I need that.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not interested in human villains in my shark movie.
Especially when you don't need one. I'd rather have a bunch of dead meat. It seems disconnected. If they had merged these things where they all ended up having to work together in a sort of Dawn of the Dead scenario, the remake version, where they can talk to one another, but they're just a little bit too far apart to actually do anything,
right,
but they're still connected. I just find it weird that this is the way they constructed the plot. And if they had just one or two more idea sessions, they probably would have condensed this down to something that worked a little bit better. But I fear that maybe at one point it was like that. And someone said, this is just too similar to Crawl. And we have to separate these stories. That also could have happened. I don't know. But this is one of those things where Gena, I don't like to have to yell at a movie unless it's been around for a long time, right? Or it really has it coming. And what I'm angry at this movie is it's fine when I think it could have been good. And certainly it could have been a lot worse, but it's just a bummer that I think, and I don't think it's a performance thing either. I think the young actresses playing Lisa and Dakota are really trying. They are committed to making this happen.
I would not have minded at all if the movie, even if it did end up being too much like Crawl, I would not have minded at all if the movie focused entirely on them, just trying to, initially just ride the storm out, and then when they realize that they got to get her to a hospital because she's in labor, or I don't know, maybe make the baby in distress or something like something that, if you want to add more drama besides the sharks, you can do that. I would not have had a problem with that. We don't need this extra subplot with these kids.
Yeah. Unless they're involved.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
I'm officially obsessed, and you will be too. If you haven't tried Lem by Hello Nancy yet, what are you doing? Over 1 million women are using it, and the reviews are wild. One girl literally said, "Join the incredibly satisfied brigade." I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. The hype is 100% real. Don't let the cute design fool you. Go to hellonancy.com and see what the hype is about.
And if you have a massive flood and everyone ends up in the same place, and it's almost like a Night of the Living Dead bait 3D situation where they don't know one another, but there's dueling priorities here. And that would have helped evolve some of these characters where their interactions would have displayed who they are as people without it feeling so rote. I just think it would have helped. It's just, I do like the fact that the non-physical villain though here, Gena, is capitalism. Lisa's been called into work even though she's 9 months pregnant and there's a storm coming. Dakota is still in that house to a degree because it's the only financial stability she has. There's this whole...
I appreciate saying that, and I agree with you, but I think you're giving the screenwriters way too much credit.
I would agree. I think that the town's a little unpopulated for once the flood happens, that you don't see more people, but I also don't think they had enough money to pay for more people, I guess.
No.
I don't know. In terms of timing, the flood happens at the 20-minute mark. You got sharks at 30. It's like someone's got a clock going, I better see fins at the 29-minute mark, because it absolutely happens. There are moments that give me a little bit of hope that someone had ideas here. One of them is that this truck driver who's driving around an entire tanker full of loose pig blood
Yeah, I mean, again, very heavily telegraphing something that's going to happen later. It's like, I bet that truck's going to break open at some point, and it does.
And it just absolutely baits the water, and it causes everything else to happen. But when he, comes to after being knocked out, and he hears, the screams of Lisa, he has to force open his door. What he doesn't realize at the time is that the kicking the door is attracting the sharks. And so when the door's open, he immediately gets et. And I'm like, hey, that's an idea, man. Someone had an idea for setup payoff where you're informing the audience, you make noise, sharks come. That's storytelling in action. But then it really doesn't happen again until the vibrating floaties thing, which feels more like they're trying to do the classic yellow barrels out of Jaws, including the fact that several of the bags that she uses are yellow.
Right.
I also don't think you can travel 100 miles by boat in that amount of time through debris. Come the fuck on. When the TV guy goes, what do bull sharks do? And they immediately find dead cows. Like, that's a little fast, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I hate that Mr. Olsen was just wading in shark-filled waters with a bloody stump. And time passes before he shows up. What was he holding that above the water? Did he seal that off with candle wax? What the fuck is happening here?
I mean, I guess you're supposed to assume he just passed out in the water, but somehow didn't drown.
And also didn't get eaten more by sharks. Why would they bite you before you had a bloody stump? And then I had a taste of him, didn't care for it. I'll wait until later. I had a snack. I really didn't appreciate the casual racism of the TV reporter.
Yeah,
I found that fucking unnecessary.
Like, what even is that? It was just so left field because this script just insists on dropping, weird, labored attempts at humor here and there.
The fuck ratio in this movie is through the roof. And I say that as someone who has probably said fuck, 15 times so far?
Well, it's like, they think that people repeatedly say holy fucking shit is hilarious.
Yeah. This reaction is a joke. It seems to be that people have taken all the wrong lessons from you gotta be fucking kidding me in John Carpenter's The Thing.
Right.
And the genius of that is, if anybody looked at a crab head with eye stalks sticking out of the neck, you too would say, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's what you would say in that circumstance. And that actor fucking nails it. And I can't say that anyone does here. It seems like they put fuck in the script a whole bunch for reasons.
Because Netflix, baby.
I guess. I also feel like the orphan triplets here are given this thing where they find this box of dynamite and they strap 12 sticks of it to those stakes, light a fuse, throw it on the other end of the house, and then it kind of blows up with I've seen grenades in Crocodile Dundee 2. Have greater power than 8 sticks of fucking dynamite here. Dude, it just kind of goes bloosh.
It doesn't blow up the whole house. Doesn't blow up them.
It doesn't even blow up the wall, the corner of the wall they're next to. It just blows up the sharks. And they're like, guess danger is over. The 2 sharks in your house? That's it? That's what we're worried about? There are other sharks?
You've got the great white shark showing up again, which again was telegraphed heavily when Djmon Hounsu's character says, "Oh, the bull shark's only natural predator is a great white shark," and I'm like, guess who's going to show up to save the day?
Yes.
And then somehow this one shark getting ate by the great white shark, instantly makes the water start receding, and the other shark just, all right, sorry guys, we'll just go.
That's all he needed.
Yeah,
he's the linchpin. He's the only thing that's been keeping the floodwaters.
Well, shit. Since Dave's gone, I guess we better leave. That's it. That's all over. That's the end of it. Like cue up the triumphant music and everybody's like, yay! And, who knows how many other people were killed, but we made it.
Yeah. I wish we could do choose your own death adventure, but everyone dies by shark or drowning. And I don't like that.
No, I mean, nobody seems to go quickly, which, I'm pretty sure that, a shark attack, they just kind of chomp you down.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know. None of them are particularly good. None of them are particularly like exciting or horrifying.
It's that one. It's that one back of the head chomp that happens to the foster dad. Is about as good as it gets, and everyone else is just kind of carried off.
Yeah, they lose a limb and then they get and get carried away and then they get pulled away.
Yeah, it just it doesn't reach the level of that's the skill of the filmmakers behind Crawl. I can't keep denigrating this movie because it's not another movie, but they're aping it.
I'm starting to think that Crawl is pretty unique.
I think Crawl, and part of this is just a couple weeks ago, I showed it to Ollie for the first time. Because I told him about it years ago, but for whatever reason, I'm like, you want to watch Crawl? Because there's this other shark movie that's coming up that's going to be kind of like it. So I kind of like to give it another whirl. And he's like, sure. And so we all watched it together. And that thing just fucking works. It's just a little bit of a miracle. It's not the perfect movie. No movie is perfect. But I think it uses what it has in absolutely some of the most unique and interesting tension building ways that whenever something happens, whenever they feel they have an out, another complication comes in that does not feel out of place. When they wander out and they're like, the rain's going to help cover our walk to the rowboat, and then they're in the eye of the storm, it's like, Jesus, this is fucking crazy. Like, it has a 1-act, 2-act, 3-act build to it that's just nuts how great it is. And I like singing that movie's praise. And I believe they just announced that they're going to make a sequel to it, which I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's a real lightning in a bottle situation.
I think that's a real unique scenario. And what they're going to try to do, I fear, is make it bigger. And I think the secret sauce and the genius to it is that it is small. Because it's small, everything means a lot more. And the bigger you make it, I think the less sort of walls closing in on you it feels. I just don't think you can set it at an airport. I don't think you can put it in a hospital. But please prove me wrong, because I would love to be proven wrong rather than proven right in this circumstance.
Right, exactly.
Gena, where can people find you on these here internets?
I write about movies and pop culture and current events on my newsletter, GenaWatchesThings.ghost.io, and I am mostly on Instagram under Gena Does Things.
Do it today, people. Check it out. We got Screamshare at screamshare.beehive. That's BEEHIIV.com. The link is in the notes, and you can sign up there, and I will give you 3 streaming recommendations every single Thursday for your horror watching weekend needs. One that's new, one that's classic, and one that is streaming for free. And of course, you can find us on your socials. Talk back to us there. Join us over on Patreon. Help support the show financially. You can talk back to us on YouTube. Subscribe there. You don't have to listen, but it does help if you subscribe. And then you can talk back to us on Spotify as well, if that is how you listen. You can email us at killbykillpod@gmail.com. And of course, go to our t-shirt shop. The link is in the notes below, and you can buy a t-shirt and help support the show that way. This is the grand end. We usually end on a good one, but timing was not that way for this Animal Attack April. But we don't we don't love Animal Attack April because it happened. We love it because it happened to all of us all at the same time. So I loved sharing it with you, Gena.
Me too, as always. Until
next year for Animal Attack April. But of course, don't worry, folks, because the body count will continue. Next week, we will be discussing the first Ready or Not, a movie that is infinitely more successful on almost every metric than this one, especially in the character department. Holy jamboli. 2019's Ready or Not, a really good movie. So if you want to revisit that one before we talk about it, please do so. But that just about does it for now. For myself and for Gena, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
Are you trying to get weight loss support through telehealth, but it feels overwhelming and rushed? Check out orderlymeds.com now. Orderlymeds.com was built to be different. Here, you connect with real doctors who take the time to understand your goals, review your eligibility, and guide you through a plan that's right for you. Orderly Meds provides access to proven GLP-1 medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide, including both name brand options and personalized compound versions when appropriate. So you have choices backed by clinical oversight, not guesswork. It's a simpler, more supportive telehealth experience designed around people who want clarity, care, and confidence in their weight loss journey. And your medication is delivered directly to your home in discreet packaging, so your experience stays private from start to finish. Do your research, ask the right questions, then visit orderlymeds.com/podcast for an exclusive offer. Again, that's orderlymeds.com/podcast. Individual results may vary, not medical advice. Eligibility required. See site for details.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.